We're so happy to have Gaya Stepanian tonight with us, talking about something that concerns all of us at some point, some at a greater level, and that is weight loss. So how about if I tell you that you can also lose weight with magnets? That's something we all want to hear about. We welcome Gaya tonight. How are you, Gaya?
Hi, Kike.
Always
How
good
are
to see you.
Same here. Always excited to be able to share some information that I think would be of benefit to so many people, to recover health and recover an ideal state.
Exactly. So we know from the holistic point of view, well, everything has to do with energy, and particularly with the magnets. We know that you can always treat several conditions, such as, you know, anything involved with pathogens, no? Is that how you say, microbes and viruses and all of these? But to think about losing weight, what's the relationship between this microscopic world and basically gaining weight?
Well, if we think about the Earth, right, and we look at the equator, everything closer to the equator has tons of life. There's tons of flora and fauna the closer we are to the equator. Think of the equator as that point neutral. And the further we get from the equator, the more cold there is, the less life form there is, and therefore, and there's more depression and what have you. And so the same thing happens in our cells. When our cells fall out of balance, out of their point neutral, then that's where we get sick. That's where we can, our body can sustain pathogens. And I think what a lot of people don't understand and don't know is that germs, in other words, you know, the pathogenic bacteria, parasites, viruses, and yeast survive and thrive when our cells are not in their neutral place, when we lose electrons or gain too many electrons. In other words, when we become overly acidic and overly alkaline. But when we're able to reestablish that neutral place in our cells, then our metabolism gets better, our immune system gets better, our organs function ideally, we rejuvenate. And in that state, we can obtain our ideal weight. Whether we want to lose or gain, we obtain that ideal weight. Our muscles become stronger. We can help our spleen, that has so much to do with the strength of our muscles, our sphincters, our bones, our tendons, our ligaments, help our spleen get back into that ideal place, and help our colon move and function, clean up our liver so that our liver can help our body do what it needs to do in order to have healthy blood, clean our blood, and keep our metabolism moving fast. And magnets have the capacity to get our cells back into that point neutral. And so knowing where to place them, what polarities to use to find the germs that are making us sick or making our metabolism slow is key. And so we can, if for those that want to lose weight, we can rapidly lose weight knowing how to use magnets and knowing where to place them in order to be able to break down body fat, to be able to get rid of the things that are keeping our metabolism working slow, and get back to shape rather quickly.
So basically supporting organs to improve or to get back to their original, full function pattern will help in improving metabolism and making the whole body get rid of anything that's no longer or is not welcome. Basically, when we think about from that point of view, making everything else work perfect, so it will do its job, getting rid of the fat in a way.
Exactly. So, I've heard so many people over the years tell me, I'm having a hard time losing weight. It's like, it doesn't matter what I do, what diet I try, I can't seem to lose weight, or I can't seem to keep the weight off, right? And so that's where the pathogens come in. And that's where people don't know that they have basically interrupters in weight loss living and thriving in their body. And so unless we remove those things, it becomes an uphill battle to lose weight. And so through this wonderful technique called biomagnetism, which works with the body's natural responses using kinesiology, we can obtain the information that we need in order to be able to find out what pathogens are in the body, where they're hiding, what they're doing, and actually push them out of the body, flush them out, so that people can then, through good nutrition, get back to their ideal state. And so the key is good nutrition. One of the things that frustrates me the most is how I see diets come in as fads and people adhere to them or stick to them thinking that they're going to get them to lose weight and sustain the weight. Let's say, for example, years ago it was Atkins, where people were like, oh, you can eat high-fat foods, eliminate your carbs, and you're going to lose weight. And now the other name of that Atkins is keto. Both are terrible for our health. People will experience some weight loss originally, but when you put a lot of fat in your system and a lot of protein, you end up slowing down your liver, making it highly congested. You're like on a path for either an inflamed liver or hepatitis. And so that's why these kinds of diets then have people test their liver constantly, because it's highly damaging to the liver. And when we damage our liver, we can then affect our pancreas, which in turn can affect our thyroid. I've had several people in session tell me, oh, I'm doing keto because I'm trying to lose weight, but I just got diagnosed with, hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, and I don't know why that is. Well, that's exactly what I just mentioned right now, is that when we inflame our liver and we make it highly congested, because the body can only absorb a certain amount of protein at a time, and when you put too much fat in it, imagine the liver's a filter. So any filter is going to get clogged by too much grease. And the liver can only process a certain amount of protein at a time. So I see a lot of people that are athletes and they drink a lot of protein, heavy protein drinks, and basically they're tired, their body aches, then they're drinking these energy drinks that are bad for the liver too, because they've slowed down their liver so much that now they need something with high energy that's going to help give them a boost so that they can keep up. And it's just a spiraling, path going to nowhere. Actually, it's a spiraling path going to becoming very unhealthy and having a much slower metabolism in the long run. So diets, we don't need diets in order to be able to lose weight. What we need is we need to get rid of the pathogens that are in our body, and through magnets we can help break down fat in our body in order to be able to lose weight. Obviously exercise and some really good nutrition. I brought over today some of the things that I take because I muscle test everything. And for those of you who don't know what muscle testing is, it's being able to tap into our intuition through observable, subtle muscle movements that can give us a yes and no from that internal place inside of us that knows what's right for us and what's not right for us, and be able to confirm whether there are certain types of nutrition that serve us and others that don't. I love teaching kinesiology because it gives people a tool to be able to verify, hey, is this food good for me? Is this food not good for me? Is this supplement good for me? Is this supplement not good for me? And some of the supplements that I've muscle tested that seem to be consistently really good for people, and certainly for me, are made by Soul.
You basically test everything.
I do.
You muscle test every decision. Like what you're going to buy.
Well, we have our gut, right? I mean, if I see a pair of shoes that I like, I won't muscle test that. I just, I'll try them on, and if they fit good and I like them. But I do in terms of my nutrition, because there's so much going on in food today, right? There's so many GMOs, genetically modified foods, there's so much pesticides happening, that at that point I want to know, okay, is the stuff that I'm buying that's organic, is it truly better than the non-organic? And sometimes it's yes, and sometimes I get a no. And so I've learned to trust what the body gives me, because it's what's gotten me to be healthy. And I'm almost 50, I'm right around the corner from 50. I don't exercise quite as often as I wish I could. So in other words, I exercise once in a blue moon. Even though, you know, I absolutely love yoga, I'm a yogi, but I unfortunately don't have a lot of time to be able to dedicate as much to exercising as I wish I could. But that's where really good high nutrition and the use of magnets keep me in shape, keep me healthy, keep body fat off, and keep my metabolism going really fast and keep my immune system functioning high. So, you know, here we have some things that are highly absorbable by the body. In other words, there are so many supplements out there on the market that we take them, they sound good, but what they do is they just sit there and congest our liver further. And instead of us processing and benefiting from those nutrients, because a lot of them are chemically processed, they just make us slower and sicker, and they don't necessarily help us. We don't absorb the majority of those nutrients. So these are some of the things that I absolutely love. My Soul Vital, you know, I don't leave home without it, basically, especially if I'm traveling. So Soul Vital, what it does is that it has a lot of chlorophyll that's absorbable by the body, and it has adaptogens. Adaptogens are, you know, roots and other greens and spices that can help regulate the body, allowing the body to, let's say for somebody who has high cholesterol or low cholesterol, get our cholesterol to normal. People with high blood pressure or low blood pressure get our blood pressure to normal. And so it helps the body get into that perfect place in terms of our cycles of sleep, our cycles of our metabolism, of our hormones, all those cycles that we have as individuals. They work to help us get back to that normal place. So Soul Vital is wonderful because what it does is that it helps you become more productive, more motivated, it helps you handle stress very good, and it helps clean out your system. A lot of people that I see have parasites. I would say about 90% of the people that I see have parasites. And I live in the United States. We don't check for parasites in this country. And yet 90% of the people that I see have parasites. Now, what do parasites do? Parasites interact with bacteria, pathogenic bacteria, and they basically can slow down or put to a dead halt our metabolism. For some people, they can make you lose so much weight that you can't put body fat on. But for the majority of people, it actually interrupts your ability to lose weight. It makes you bloated, and they interrupt your digestive tract.
Where do you get parasites from?
Well, we can get parasites from, there's parasites that are in our upper respiratory system. And so let's say somebody sneezes on you or they touch something, well, then you can catch some of those upper respiratory parasites. There are parasites that are in our digestive tract, and a lot of times eating sushi. If you go have sushi and you leave and you have an upset stomach, there's a possibility that you picked up on some parasites. So sushi is a commonplace. I mean, back in the day before COVID, when people used to go to parties or a barbecue and they used to dig their hand in the bucket and grab ice, and everybody dug their hands and grabbed the ice, those are places where we can, if we're sharing the same germs as people, we can then expose ourselves to parasites. So they're in the environment. Parasites are everywhere. So good hygiene and noticing, if I ate something, did it make me gassy? Did it make me bloated? Do I have acid reflux? I would say the vast majority of acid reflux or acidity is is caused by parasites. So those are some of the signs in terms of knowing that you have parasites. So being bloated, being gassy, having a lot of constipation, having acidity, those are signs of parasites.
Of course, we have to always mention that it all starts with the food, the intake, the quality of food. In this country, it's very poor, and it does take a toll on your health. Overweight is an epidemic in the U.S. Talk about epidemics. That's one of the most present right now. I mean, COVID isn't the news, but everywhere you go, there's obesity. I'm sorry. So you have a chance through magnets to really treat this. How would it be? Do you need one session? And also, do you work remotely? Is this something that you can treat remotely?
Fortunately, yes. And in fact, I think the highest success happens when people actually learn the technique, because if you learn it, then you can self-apply it and you can apply it forever, right? And so depending on what your goal is, if you want to lose 5 pounds, if you want to lose 30 pounds, if you want to lose 100 pounds, right? So looking from there, depending on what your goal is, then I would say either learn the technique so that you can self-apply, or definitely, look at having sessions in order to be able to meet your goal. Now, some people lose weight rapidly with sessions because a lot of the weight they gain or sustain is caused by parasites. So when we can eliminate the parasites, then the metabolism starts to move, the gut starts to move, and people are able to then, get rid of the weight.
Would you describe a little bit what you're doing here, or what you did on this client?
Yes. So that's a student of mine. She and her husband took a class, took biomagnetism certification, and so they learned the technique. Now they took it remotely, and then she flew into Miami to do a couple sessions with me. So the picture of her in the white shirt was her first session with me. She was very bloated. Suffering from insomnia, anxiety, she was overeating, her appetite was definitely emotionally triggered, and she had, a slew of different germs. The picture of her in the gray shirt was 10 days later. After 2 sessions, I showed her where to reapply. She reapplied every day with her magnets, and she lost 22 pounds in 10 days. Without dieting. She did start to become more conscious of how to hydrate and try to eat better, but her appetite was curbed because that emotional eating disappeared, because we can resolve that through magnets too. So a lot of the emotional things that cause overeating can be managed through biomagnetism. We can work on not just the physical aspects of what's going on in the body, but also the emotional things, so that the body really gets back into balance from the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the energetic, right? So it's really a holistic method to be able to get a person back into their center.
Exactly. I would say that the first thing that you experience with magnets, it's the calmness, the tranquility, the peace, and it has a lot to do with cravings. Because once you get to control your anxiety, well, it will also reflect on your appetite. So it's an important factor. I know for me, biomagnetism has done a lot of things, great things, and I never, to this point, I hadn't thought about controlling my appetite, but I will certainly ask you after this program to apply some of those magnets on me.
Well, here
especially at night, we should reduce as much as we can ingestion, right?
Well, yeah, at night, because you don't want to make your liver overwork at a time when it's not necessarily at its peak high. Every organ has a peak operating period. In Chinese medicine, it's understood how every system in the body has a peak function time and a low function time. And the liver is not at its peak function in the evening. And so you don't want to introduce a lot of heavy foods at night, because what it makes for is insomnia, uncomfortable, feeling heavy, feeling bloated at night, a slower digestive system, and gaining weight, putting on more pounds. So you definitely want to eat things that are lighter and easier for the digestive tract to absorb. But so here I have some double polarity magnets. As you know, I manufacture them. And so if you put them on your liver, then you can help the liver begin to function better. There are points in the body that have to do with emotional. There's a few different points with emotional eating, but one of the most common is the heart. So when our emotions are stirred, then we can get our heart back into balance. And then also the stomach. So when we work the heart and the stomach together, we can resolve a lot of the emotional eating. Not 100%, but sometimes it's enough in order to be able to stop I feel like, a bottomless pit, I'm constantly eating. So if when I find myself in a place where I'm emotionally eating, I'm like, wait, hold on a second, let me go put my magnets on. I'll put them on heart, and I'll put them on my stomach, and that just nips it in the bud. Within 20 minutes, that whole behavior is gone, and I'm set. And it lasts. It's not like it's gone for an hour. No, it lasts for that whole period or episode in which, for whatever reason, I began eating emotionally.
Now, the good news is that you also provide not only the treatment, but you also provide the magnets. You are a distributor of magnets, and you also educate
Yes.
on the topic.
Yes.
People can get a certification with you.
Exactly.
So if you're considering a new job, career change, you can consider studying biomagnetism. It's a growing practice. You've certified so far, I mean, you know how many people?
I don't know, hundreds.
And I'm one of them. So it's always fun to be with the one that treats you and teaches you, and also, well, he's going to give you all the elements that you need to be able to perform this. This is just an example of a regular magnets. There are so many types that you can also. Each one of them has a particular function, right?
Exactly. So here I have my magnetic strips. I love these because using the correct polarity, you know, sometimes when I feel like I'm putting on a little bit too much in the hips or, you know, in the thigh area, then I will just put them under where those fat pockets are. And when I wake up in the morning, you know, cellulite has either drastically diminished or is not visible anymore. And you know, they really are wonderful because what do? Magnets send a lot of oxygen to an area, so it dismantles pockets of fat. You know, it works if people have high cholesterol, if there are, you know, the hardening of the arteries. We can help to dismantle that hardening, which is really yeast that's now infiltrated in the arteries, to break it down so that you know, the function of the heart and the cardiovascular system gets back to a healthy place.
That noise you just heard are two dogs that are running around our studio. They're somewhere, they're playing, so this is a live broadcast. You can always expect something. You can, do you want to show
Rue?
Rue?
Rue's gotten magnet treatments too. Right, Rue?
That's another thing you can apply to your pets.
Mm-hmm.
And even, I mean, anything alive, anything that's living, like plants, no? You can apply to use it in water.
Right, exactly. So, you know, usually I use a negative polarity magnet to be able to alkaline the water and detox the water. So we can, you know, they have so many wonderful uses. I don't think enough people know how amazing magnets are because they really can help our cells get back into that perfect state of balance where disease cannot thrive, where the germs that cause disease cannot thrive, where our toxic emotions cannot survive either. And so they really have been, for me, short of miraculous in terms of being able to help people transform their lives, whether they're suffering from something terminal, whether they're suffering from something congestive, chronic, degenerative, or incurable. So, yes.
So we are periodically producing shows on this topic. You can always find Gaya Stepanian, who, by the way, is also the president of the International Association of Alternative and Ancient Medicine. Would you want to tell us a little bit about what we're doing?
Absolutely.
Right here?
Absolutely. Would love to. So the IAAAM, or the International Association of Alternative and Ancient Medicine, was really pioneered in order to be able to bring together practitioners of these different fields and also people who are fans of alternative and ancient medicine or people that want to learn about these methods to expand this work throughout the world so that one day in every corner of this beautiful earth of ours, people have an alternative to healing. So they can avoid things that are invasive, surgeries, medications that we know can mask symptoms but not necessarily heal the body. And through all of these different practices, we can share and grow this community throughout the world. We know that in numbers there's power. And so we definitely invite other practitioners to visit the IAAAM.net in order to be able to learn, join, learn, connect, support.
Network.
Exactly. We have people that are practitioners in other parts of the world. There's 4 branches right now. We have a branch in Mexico, in Chile, in Spain, in the United States, and we're growing. And we are able to refer to each other so that people who may have never heard of these ancient medicine healers in Mexico can then access that information, knowledge, and training or treatments. And the same with our practitioners in Chile and other parts of the world. And so it's this beautiful exchange in which together we're learning more, we're supporting each other, and we're expanding the work and the mission. So we definitely would love to have you visit and join this group, because we are going to together help grow alternative and ancient medicine globally.
And you can even have your own show here with us.
Exactly.
So if you're interested in promoting and making yourself known, you can always reach to us for that. We have Lian Chan, who says, amazing, lost 22 pounds in 10 days.
Yes.
With biomagnetism.
I think she's referring of the case study that we're talking about. Yes. That person lost 22 pounds in 10 days in a very healthy way, and also reported her anxiety gone, her insomnia gone, her acidity, she had acid reflux gone, and she was suffering from chronic constipation. So all of that disappeared in a very short period of time.
Amazing. And we are broadcasting through different platforms. Right now, we are on the IAAAM channel, we are on Aldea Global, and also in the Magnet Lady. So that's the way we do it around here. Gaya, always great to see you, bringing us news. It's literally unlimited. All the things, all the benefits you can obtain from magnets. And you are the one and only, the Magnet Lady, the one who knows everything about it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Kike. Always love joining you.
And we hope to see you very, very soon with another great topic. Remember, we are IAAAM, International Association of Alternative and Ancient Medicine, always bringing you the ways to reach your perfect balance with everything involving mind, body, and spirit. I am. See you very, very soon.